What is the funniest thing you overheard from another player's mic while playing a game online? I was playing I think COD or something, and I hear this kid go, "Mom, did you see that? I sniped him." And the mom goes, "That's great. Did you put lotion on your ashy ass elbows?" One time after beating a kid at a match on Counter-Strike, he kept yelling 1v1 me noob and hurling other insults at me. The kid was definitely only 11 to 12 years old. Anyways, I added him so we could 1v1, and while sitting in the pre-game lobby I heard his mother come in and start yelling at him to go to bed. He refused to turn off the PC. Then I heard his mother walk towards the PC and turn it off. He was immediately disconnected. I was laughing so hard the whole time. I heard an adult get mad at his mom for putting the wrong cheese on his sandwich. I was playing Rocket League and some guy told me he was going to take a bath with my dad. I've never laughed so hard. A guy in my Overwatch party was taking barn rips all night, claiming it made him play better. We had pushed the payload almost to the end on our turn, but we were losing ground extremely fast. They pushed us to the second checkpoint on Gibraltar when the guy says hold up and goes completely AFK in spawn. From the mech we hear the loudest, most drawn out barn rip that I have ever heard in my life. Shit dead, it lasted like 90 seconds. He came back and proceeded to frag out hard on medieval characters and basically held the enemy team in spawn the rest of the game. After that we went on one of those night-long winning streaks and I finally hit diamond. I never found Weed Seagull again, but I couldn't have done it without him. I was playing a quick play game of Overwatch and there was some kid getting yelled at by his mom that dinner was ready. It was a shouting match of her telling him to get off the game and him telling her he'd only be a minute. Then he full on screamed at her and disconnected. This was followed by one guy on mic who had been silent the entire game, bursting out laughing. "Charlie, don't you dare chew the fucking cable. Don't you dare. Stop, stop, stop. Spit the fucking cable out, Charles Zapkrustbrusj." I think what I presume to be the cat didn't let go of the cable. Overheard a mom shout from a teammate's audio, "Mom, we are going out to get breakfast." Kid, "No, I'm in the middle of a game." Mom, "We are going to McDonald's." Awesome. Kid 69 left the game. This guy's girlfriend asked him if she should order him pizza. He said, "Do I fucking look Italian to you?" I was once playing NHL with a couple friends. Our randomly filled teammate was probably about a 14 or 15-year-old kid. We then hear an older woman's voice, presumably his mother, in the thickest Boston accent I've ever heard. "Wash ya fucking hands, Teddy. 2 pumps of soap. Don't break the fucking container." My husband goes around singing, "You have food. You have water. What the fuck is your problem?" Our goofy Maine Coon kitty is a complete chowhound, but loves when my husband sings to him. So when my husband sings this, the kitty chimes in with him. Well, one night I'm doing a WoW raid, and I was explaining a strat when my husband starts singing this in the kitchen. He was loud enough that everyone on the mic heard it and burst out laughing. Shortly after that, someone asked the mage to drop a table and a feast, so he responded by saying, "You have food and water. WTF is your problem?" which lead to everyone bursting out in laughter again. I was trash talking this team on Black Ops 2 back in the day. I said, "You live in your mom's basement," and my mom walked into my room at that very moment and said, "You will too if you don't get those grades up." I was 14. On a TF2 server close to when Fallout 4 was gonna be released, some guy had a tabletop record player and some original records that had some of the songs from Fallout on them. And while he was playing Atom Bomb Baby for the millionth time, he knocked the record player off his desk and everyone in the server heard it basically explode on the poor man's floor. He sounded like he was gonna cry afterwards. I was playing COD and a player was helping his son with his homework. He was having a hard time explaining why multiplying by 0 equals 0, so I plugged in my mic and told the guy how to explain it simply. It was like Cyrano de Bergerac. I'd say a sentence to the guy in his headset and he'd parrot it to the kid. I also love when I hear people talk to what I assume are their pets on mic. So not overheard, but I remember an incident about myself. When I was 12 I got to raid ZG in World of Warcraft for the first time with my guild. It was also the first time I used Ventrilo/TS and didn't know about the push to talk mechanics, so my mic was on the whole time. My mom asked me from downstairs what I wanted on my sandwich, so I yelled back really loud, "Leverpast with mayonnaise and cucumber," in Norwegian, and oh my god, I scared the shit out of my guilders. Some other Norwegian guy in the guild could not stop laughing for the whole raid. Back in the days of Halo 2, guy I played with regularly was Asian. We were trash talking, as 15-year-olds will, when I heard this sharp slapping sound, followed by the dude logging out. Turns out his mom heard our trash talk and used her flip-flop to wallop the back of his head. First time I heard it, followed by many more when we were up too late. The only online game I've ever played is Fortnite, and I only started playing that because my little nephew wanted me to duo with him as he has nobody else to play with regularly. I was bad though, so I started playing squad fill on my own to try and improve, so I could actually help my nephew when we play. Early hours of one morning I got paired up with a couple of guys who sounded like they were talking Arabic, so I just stayed quiet. Then a young kid joined, maybe about 14 or so, and started trying to talk to the other two. He went through a whole list of languages, asking them if they spoke English, Spanish, Italian, German, and the two guys said no each time. Finally the kid asked them if they spoke French, and one of them said yes. The kid spoke a few sentences in French, and after a slight pause one of the guys replied with a baguette. I laughed. The kid left. One of the guys said AWW the weekend left. Turns out they were both Scottish. It was funny, but it didn't half make me feel kind of dumb. Listen to this young kid who speaks all these languages and me barely know English. It was in a Call of Duty Ghosts Infection lobby. There were multiple little kids trash talking each other throughout the whole game. Then somebody called Figritska joined and infected one of the kids. Then they all ganged up on him saying that they hoped he choked on his haggis. Then he comes on the mic, and in the most stereotypical Scottish accent possible, casually says "feck off lads," or "I'll shove me haggis up ye bollocks, laddie." I was nearly crying throughout the next match. Not mine, but my friend's story. She was playing PUBG with a bunch of random people, and one of the dude's mom goes, "Are you talking to a girl?" in the most dramatic voice, and then he disappeared. The other dude went like, "Oh man, let's pray for his soul." I overheard these two guys on Siege talking about Red Dead, and this one guy said, "I named my horse after the Super 90 shotgun," and just yelled "GEEH" as hard as he could. I used to play Halo 3 with a group of my social worker buddies. Whenever we would get an angsty kid yelling at the game, we would turn it into a counseling session, teaching anger management techniques, finding out what was behind the rage, encouraging them to rethink life decisions. I'd like to think we helped a lot of people. I'm too late and this will get buried, but no game will drag you out of party chat and into game chat like Sea of Thieves. One night we had a few ships alliance up over a few hours, very chill and having a good time, until we get some dumb middle schooler in the chat. He keeps us chill for all of maybe 10 minutes before he drops, "Hey, how old do you guys think I am?" I said, "Young enough to ask that question," which got a lot of laughs. He then told us he was 14, used a racial slur, and told us he hated gay people. Over the course of the next few minutes, nobody kicked or blocked him. Instead we all talked about how glad we were that we didn't have online chat when we were his age, because everyone is a fucking idiot when they're 14, and we also would have said and done stupid shit thinking we were cool, but actually telling everyone that we are immature and close-minded and really just fucking dumb. We all shared anecdotes about stupid things we said or believed as teenagers. He got really quiet and then got very polite. We ended up playing with him for several hours. Then at the end somebody remarked that they didn't realize you can't change your character after creation and they wished they had picked a different one. To which this girl shouts, "You're telling me I'm stuck playing as this fattest grandma?" And sure enough, her character was indeed a fattest grandma. Sea of Thieves. So many laughs with strangers. I was the one saying it over a live mic. Husband and I were cooking meal prep lunches when I had to leave for my raid. I was talking something through before a fight when my husband came into the office with a fork full of food for me to try. I moved my head away a few times and he kept getting closer and closer with the fork until I finally said, "I don't want it in my mouth right now." Guild waited a half second before losing it. We had to take a 10-minute break. I was playing Fortnite with a squad of fandoms, playing with a kid who's been talking the entire game. No one is responding. A mom, I'm assuming, starts yelling at this kid in AskReddit on Fortnite. Mind you, he's probably 10 to 12 years old. I hear in a stern voice, Jason, turn off yours barks right now. He whines, we are almost done. Can I finish this game? She says if you don't turn it off now. Nose barks for a week, door slams. Jason goes, fudge it. He stays on, and we come in 7th. Jason is a legend. While playing WoW, a guildmate from Trinidad screamed that his neighbor's monkey was spinning on his ceiling fan, peeing everywhere. It was truly glorious. Was dealing with a real tough Mick bad boy onks go matchmaking. Rude, racist, griefing, etc. Just your typical gold Nova puppy. But all of a sudden we hear a baby crying in the background of his mic. Someone tells him to go take care of his fucking child, and the whole match becomes just us answering him with unsolicited fatherhood tips. A guy's drunk wife talking loud enough in the background for us to hear her about how she made the shit out of some sourdough bread. Those were her exact words. She was all, yeah, I know your online friends can hear me. I bet they're jealous of this bomb sourdough. They can suck my dick. Back in the Halo 2 days, there was the proximity mic feature, where you could hear an opposing player's mic if you were near them when they spoke. Team Slayer one night on coagulation, I hijacked an enemy player's ghost. Remember how awesome it was doing that? As I kicked the dude out and stole his ghost, the kid shouted at me, "Go eat a cheeseburger, you fat Irishman." And then silence as I turned around and killed him. I was stunned, but hilariously amused at the same time. That was 2005, and I still giggle about his crackly voice screaming that random shit at me. I was playing a game of Dead or Alive 4 and multiple people were in the lobby. This guy in usual fashion starts trash talking one of the other guys, and all of a sudden both of them somehow get their girlfriends involved in this online argument on a headset. It was pretty hilarious listening to two women compare their man's penis sizes, which is completely irrelevant to the situation, lol. Mine isn't funny, but it was really sweet and made my gaming experience a lot better. I'm a young sounding girl, and I play a lot of CS:GO, so I'm unfortunately exposed to a ridiculous amount of all sorts of harassment. In one particularly bad game, I had 3 guys who queued together being really disgusting and horrible, and one guy who was nice, but couldn't really do anything to stop these assholes. At one point I hear who I assume is his roomie say, "Yo, this is sad. How many does she have?" Referring to how many I queued with. Guy on mic says I queued alone, and his roomie responds, "I'll hop on and invite friend X and friend Y. Ask her if she'll 5-man with us." This shit is fucking horrible. I was having a really shitty day and this guy made it way more enjoyable for me. He just heard what was being said and stopped what he was doing to make me feel more comfortable. I played like 3 awesome games with these guys. They were amazing the whole time, and I still queue with them sometimes when they're around. Doing a raid with a few randoms, I hear a dude talking to his kid say, "Yes, daddy is playing game with friends." Then all I heard was PS4 beep and him saying, "Oh fuck, not a." Cut off and leaving the game and party chat. Legit was so fucking funny. When he eventually joined back up, he explained his little kid loves turning off his PS4